Every city has one. A mechanic who actually tells you the truth. Most people never find him. They spend years getting overcharged, paying for parts they don't need, trusting people who are counting on them not to know any better. And then one day, they find the right garage. And everything changes. This is the story of that garage. This is the story of the man who built it. Not with money, not with connections, not with a business degree or a marketing plan. He built it with one thing, the same thing his father taught him: the truth. This is POV. You're the last honest mechanic in America. My dad left me a garage. No money, no customers, just old tools and a leaking roof. Every night I sat alone under a single light bulb, rain tapping on the tin roof. The cash register had maybe $40 in it. Bills on the wall, electricity, rent. I couldn't afford to quit, and I couldn't afford to stay. But my dad taught me one thing before he died. He said, "Fix the car right, charge a fair price, and sleep at night." I didn't know if that was a business plan, or just something a tired old man believed in. But I hung his toolbox on the wall, and I showed up every morning. Across the street was a big, flashy shop, neon signs. All was busy. I watched them send customers home with bigger bills than they came in with, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to do that. Not ever, even if it meant eating sandwiches alone in an empty garage for the rest of my life. Then one rainy Tuesday, a woman pulled in. Single mom, scared look on her face. Her car had been making a noise for weeks. She'd already been to 3 shops. Every one of them quoted her over $800. I looked at her car, found the problem in 4 minutes. A loose heat shield, $45 fix. Took me 20 minutes. She looked at the bill and started crying. Not because it was expensive, because it wasn't. She said no one had ever been honest with her at a mechanic shop before. Then came Mrs. Horak, 73 years old, drove a car older than most of my tools. She needed brakes. Real brakes. Not the scary story version other shops sell you. I fixed what was actually broken. Nothing more. She hugged me when I handed her the keys. This little old woman just held on. I started recording my repairs. Nothing fancy. Just my phone on a tripod, showing exactly what I was doing, and why, and what it actually costs. 100 views the first week, then 200. Someone left a comment. Finally, an honest mechanic. I read that comment maybe 20 times. I thought, if this is what people are starving for, maybe I'm doing something right. 3 months later, I woke up to my phone blowing up. One of my videos had hit 50,000 views overnight. I drove to the garage. There were people waiting in the parking lot. Before I even opened, I just stood there in the bay door, staring at the line of cars. My hands were literally shaking. We got busy, really busy. I hired 2 employees, then a third. We bought a proper diagnostic tool, then new lifts, then better lighting. The garage that was falling apart started looking like a real shop. But I kept doing the same thing. Every repair on camera, every price explained, every decision transparent. People drove 2 hours to bring their car to us because they trusted us. And trust, I was learning, is the rarest thing in this business. 100,000 subscribers, then 500,000. A local news channel ran a story about us. The rival shop across the street went quiet, then went dark. I didn't celebrate. I just kept working. That's what my dad would have done. One day I got a text. Lamborghini owner wanted me to look at his car. I almost fell off my creeper. That orange Lamborghini pulled into our lot on a Wednesday afternoon. My whole team just stopped working. The owner was expecting me to be nervous, maybe inflate the quote a little. I wasn't. I looked at his car the same way I looked at every car, with honesty. I told him exactly what was wrong, exactly what it would cost. Nothing more. He looked at the bill and laughed. Not a mean laugh, a surprised one. He said, "Every shop I've ever been to has charged me double this," that Lamborghini owner told his friends. Ferrari, Porsche, Bentley. Suddenly, we were working on cars worth more than my garage building itself. But you know what I noticed? Rich or poor, young or old. Everyone just wants the same thing. They want someone to tell them the truth. 1 million subscribers, the garage fully renovated, a real team, real income. I stood in my shop one night after everyone went home. I looked at my dad's old toolbox on the shelf. I said, "Dad, I think it worked." And then, everything fell apart. I still don't like talking about this part. One of my employees, a guy I trusted, a guy I trained from nothing, he was pocketing money. Not a little, a lot. Charging customers for parts we never installed, taking cash off the top before logging it. Customers started complaining, then more customers. Then the internet noticed. Within 48 hours, I went from the beloved honest mechanic to the subject of a scandal. Comments calling me a fraud, a liar, a scammer in disguise. Inspectors showed up. The cameras that were supposed to prove my honesty now felt like spotlights on my shame. I sat alone in that garage again, just like the beginning. Same leaking roof, different problems. I picked up my dad's toolbox, and I just held it. I thought about quitting, for the first time seriously. But then I remembered why I started. It wasn't for the views. It wasn't for the Lamborghinis. It was for that single mom, crying over a $45 bill. It was for Mrs. Horak and her hug. And I thought, the truth got me here. The truth can get me back. I went through every security camera recording myself, frame by frame, hour by hour. I found everything, clear as day. Then I went live. No script, no PR person. Just me, a camera, and the truth. I showed everything, the footage, the records, the proof. 30,000 people watched live. Then, 100,000. Then more. And the comments shifted, slowly at first. Then, all at once, people saying, "We believe you," and "We're coming back." I've been asked a lot of times, what was the worst moment? Not the empty cash register, not the leaking roof, not even the inspectors walking through my door. The worst moment was reading a comment from a woman. She said she had driven 40 minutes to bring her car to me because she watched my videos, because she trusted me, and now she felt like a fool. I sat with that for a long time. That one comment, not the thousands of angry ones, just hers. Because she wasn't angry. She was just disappointed. And that's so much worse. I thought about my dad again. He used to say, "Your name is the only thing that follows you everywhere. Guard it like your life depends on it. Because someday, it will." I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the dark garage, alone, the same way I sat when I first inherited it. Before the videos, before the subscribers, before any of it. Just me and the tools and the silence. And somewhere in that silence, I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide. I wasn't going to lawyer up and go quiet. I wasn't going to let one dishonest man erase everything my father built, everything I built. I was going to do the only thing I knew how to do. Tell the truth. All of it. Out loud. To everyone. And let people decide for themselves. Because that's what honest people do. They don't run. They stand still. And they speak. I posted a sign in the window. Back to basics. We reopened with 2 honest mechanics and 1 rule. Every single repair recorded. Every part documented. No exceptions. The first car back in the bay was Mrs. Horak's. She'd seen the live stream. She still believed in me. I fixed her car. I charged her the fair price. She hugged me again. That was enough. 2 million subscribers now. Luxury clients and single moms. Side by side in our waiting room. A team I actually trust. A garage my dad would recognize. And every morning I open those bay doors to the sunrise. I think about what he said. Fix it right. Charge fair. Sleep at night. Turns out, that's not just how you run a garage. That's how you build something that lasts. People ask me what the secret is. I always say the same thing. There is no secret. Just show up. Do the work right. And never lie to the person trusting you with their car. That's it. No hack.